Let me get some water. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to lecture 7. I think it's 7. We're going to be talking about MicroStrategy. And this is generally like smaller strategies like individual launchers, individual carriers and stuff, instead of like whole map strategies that you might want to, like, for example, coordinating an attack towards a certain position. Okay, so we're only covering headquarters, launchers, and carriers in this lecture, and the other ones we're just not going to cover in this lecture, but you guys can explore that on your own. So first off, for headquarters, some considerations that you'll want to keep in mind are what robot do you build at what time? So for example, at the beginning of a round, you might want to check how close your headquarters are to other headquarters. And once you realize that, decide whether to build carriers or launchers. So for example, in this screenshot here, you can see that the blue team decided to build carriers while they were right next to the red headquarters. However, red decided to build launchers, and this is an example where like red would just win this fight completely because the carriers are defenseless and they're not separated by like some distance. On the other hand, if you're on a large map or a map where the headquarters are more spread out, you can consider building more carriers maybe at the beginning. And that way you can get some early econ benefits over your opponent while the fights still haven't started happening. Additionally, you can consider like trying to maintain some sort of ratio of carriers and launchers. And then when you're deciding what square to build a carrier or a launcher on, basically you don't have to build a robot right next to your headquarters, right? So for example, if you're trying to use a carrier to target some well, you can build that carrier closer to the well, and that way it has a head start on its way there. And similarly for launchers, if you have a target location in mind for a launcher, for example, a well or maybe an enemy headquarters that you want to surround, you can build it closer in that direction. And then when do you want to build anchors? Well, since anchors are kind of expensive, you should probably have like some stockpile of resources before you start building them. You can also consider building them earlier and try to focus more on the anchor rush strategy where you try to conquer islands over like a combat focused strategy. And you can also switch between these strategies depending on like how big your map is or how far away your headquarters are, how easy it is to get resources, stuff like that. Okay, and then here are some things that you can consider for carriers. So one thing is like which well do you want your carrier to go to? If your headquarters is near a well and all the carriers that spawns from that headquarters head towards the same well, like that is probably not ideal, right? Because you're gonna have kind of a blockage around your well. Instead, you might want to send some of them to farther wells or send some of them out to explore and find those farther wells. Additionally, there's this, carriers can attack by throwing their resources at other robots. For example, if you have like a carrier just on its own and it's about to get attacked by a launcher that it sees, maybe it's just better to toss your resources at the launcher instead of just sitting there and dying with all your resources like being used for nothing. Additionally, there's this thing where you can help your team defeat like last hit launchers, which is a concept where say you have a bunch of launchers attacking other launchers, maybe it leaves like the health level of that launcher down pretty low. and it could be killed in one carrier strike instead of using a launcher's attack on that. So maybe you could consider attacking with a carrier in that case instead of attacking with a launcher. And then additionally, when you're thinking about upgrading wells or going for elixir, maybe consider, like, if you want to do this on small or large maps. On large maps, the game might tend to like last longer, so you have more time to collect resources and actually go and create those elixir wells. Yeah. And then next we're going to be talking about how many resources you want to gather.
Okay, so you might be thinking the optimal amount of resources to gather is just to fill up your capacity. And most of the time, that's wrong. Do not think this. We are going to dive deep into the math for no reason, but for fun. It's micro, so we're going to talk about a very micro decision. So I'm going to like propose like the way we're going to determine like how good like a resource gathering strategy is we're going to use like the rate. So like a carrier is going to take like one trip from its headquarters to a well, gather resources and back. And they can gather like M amount of resources and take like N number of turns. And like the rate is just like the number of resources divided by the total number of turns. And for like simplicity, we're going to assume like you just take the same path and like there's no current, so there's no one-way situations. And we can like abuse all the cooldowns. We can just like, if you look at it like carriers, if they're holding nothing, their movement cooldown is 5, meaning holding nothing, they can move twice in a turn. So no, like in a forward trip, like when they're holding nothing, the number of turns it's going to take to do that is like the distance divided by 2. And I just like take the form of that to deal with odd numbers. The action cooldown, it's not on the slide, but action cooldown is 8 now, which is very tricky. I do not like this. So that means like every 4 turns you get to collect an extra time, because like 8 times 5 is 40. I think that's the reasoning. And then I think that leads to like this random formula of like M minus 4 of M plus 3 over 5 number of turns to collect M resources. I dislike this. So, and then the way back is like even worse because of like the carrier movement cooldown. So I just called it pain. So what we're going to do is we're going to try like coding something up to like actually calculate what the optimal amount of resources is. And just for like the intuition, the optimal amount of resources is probably somewhere around like either like a multiple of 7 or like an odd number, something so that like you're just 1 below like a movement cooldown increase that lets you get to your destination like 1 turn faster. So let me share my screen. I think it's this one. Okay. 1 sec. I need to allow Zoom to share my screen. Okay. Zoom will not let me record the contents of my screen until this crit. I will be back. Okay. Hopefully this works now. Does that look okay? That looks okay. Okay. So let us create a class just for doing this. And we're going to call it like optimal resource. Okay. Does anyone have like any ideas of how to approach this? Or like calculating it manually? Because I actually don't know. I have like a very bad way of doing it. So if anyone has any better suggestions, please let me know before I embark on a painful path. No? Okay, we're gonna find out. We're gonna see if like I remember how to do this. So let's just make a method that like we give it some parameters and then it'll tell us like the optimal number of resources to gather. So get like optimal resource count. So then some parameters that are gonna matter is like the distance from like your head corner to the well. And also like how quickly you can collect resources. So I'm just gonna say it's only going to be different like whether or not the well is upgraded. So is upgraded well. So then we can just set like a resource gathering rate. And then if the well is upgraded, then we're going to use like the upgraded resource gathering rate if I can well accelerate rate. And if it's not upgraded, we'll just use the standard rate. So now what we're going to do is we're going to define like we're going to loop through every possible number of resources we can like gather, and we're going to see which one gets us to our destination with like the highest resource gathering rate. So I'm just going to like define like the best rate. Before we've done anything, the best rate is like 0. And then just like the best number, I'm just going to set it to like 1. Just some random number. Like this should get updated. So then we're going to loop through every possible resource amount we can grab. The carrier capacity. And now we're going to start simulating. So how many turns is it going to take us to get from the head corner to the well? Anyone have any idea? No, that's great, because we'll try and figure that out. So one thing we do need is like there's some awkward formula for like getting a movement cooldown for carrier. So let's just like create a function for that. Like get carrier movement cooldown. There might be, maybe we give you guys a function to do this. I don't know. I hope we don't, because otherwise I'm just wasting my time making this. But I think it's like some super random formula, like game constants. Carrier movement intercepts plus amount times game. Why is it not doing what I want? Carrier slope. Okay, that should be good. And now, just for like simplicity, I'm gonna do something where we can like simulate the movement. So I'm just gonna get like another function that like calculates the number of turns to do something. So in this case, I'm gonna give it like a distance, and I'll give it like our current movement cooldown. So then our starting number of turns, we're just gonna say it's like 1 turn to do something. And we'll say like our current distance we've traveled is nothing. So while our current distance isn't like the final distance we want to do, then if we can move, I'll keep track of like our current cooldown too. So if our current cooldown is less than 10, that lets us move. Then I'm just going to increase our distance by 1. And then I'm going to add our movement cooldown, just 10. Well, I'll add the cooldown parameter. Otherwise, if our current cooldown is like less than 10, we can't move. It means to like wait for the end of the turn. So then instead of like moving or like increasing the distance, I'm just gonna like increase the number of turns it took us. And I'm gonna add like 10. Well, I'm gonna decrease 10 because every turn your cooldowns go down by 10. And then you're just gonna return the total number of turns it took you. So the purpose of all of that is now for like each resource amount, we can keep track of like the total number of turns it took us to do like that trip. So now, for example, going there, you're gonna add, well, I'll be nice. So number of turns to get from headquarters to plus equals none turns. And our distance is just like the parameter we pass in, and our cooldown is just get carrier movement cooldown of 0. And then we also have to do like the same thing with like gathering m number of resources. To gather m amount of resources. And like somewhat not intuitively, well, I don't know, it's a bit intuitive. We can actually use like the same function. We do have to do like one modification where instead of like always increasing distance by 1, we're gonna have to give another parameter to show like how much you have to increase it by. And our names like kind of don't make sense if we also use this for like, well, I'll just keep the names. But like in this case, distance is like how many materials you want. So like a distance of 30 means you want to gather 30 materials at the end of it. But we're just gonna pass an extra parameter in for the increment. And for movement, this increment is just 1. So then our distance is just the number of resources that we want. Our cooldown is 8. That's just like from the game specs. And our increment is like the resource gathering rate. And lastly, we have to travel from well to headquarters again. Turns to get from well to HQ. So now we're just going to do the same function. Our distance is just the same distance back. This time we have like a new cooldown based because we're holding more resources. And distance, we're always going to like move 1 at a time. And now we have like both parts of the formula we want. We have like the total number of resources m and like the total number of turns, which we just calculated. So like our rate is just like total number of resources or distance. So then we can just say like double current rate. I'm gonna cast as like a double, so I don't have interdivision. Interdivision is bad. And then if our current rate is better than the best rate we have, then I'm gonna update our best rate. And I'm gonna update our best amount. And then at the very end, once we've looped through like every possible resource amount we can gather, I'm just gonna return like the best amount we found. So I don't trust my code at all. So we're not gonna run this. Okay, and now we can continue with the presentation.
Okay. One way that you could make this code more efficient is by maybe only checking the resource amounts that are like actually relevant, like the ones right before the movement speed decrease. Let me share my screen. And then some other considerations that you might want to consider for your launchers. For one of these is, where do you actually want your launchers to go? Because you don't want all of them to just go off and start attacking things, right? You want some to stay behind and protect your HQ in case another team comes and tries to like take over the area around your HQ. Of course, maybe this has less relevance on like bigger maps where the launchers are less likely to come like really fast all the way to your headquarters. And like we talked about in last lecture, you can figure out where to send your launchers, or your launchers can figure out where to send themselves via the rotational / vertical / horizontal map symmetries. So if you know where your headquarters are, you can probably figure out where the enemy team headquarters are. Additionally, when you're thinking about which enemy you want to attack with your launcher, you can consider attacking the ones with lower health so that they will die quicker and there will be less things like attacking you. Additionally, there are some other robots that you might just want to ignore. For example, amplifiers can't actually do damage to you, but launchers can. And then carriers can do damage to you, as well as destabilizers, but boosters cannot do damage. And you're gonna code. Okay, we're going to code something up now, and it's going to be kind of a follow the leader situation for a group of launchers. Oh, I was not sharing my screen. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now we're gonna code something that's like actually relevant. I apologize for putting you guys through the pain of that last one. Okay. So if you want to do like some follow the leader kind of thing, we need like some way of designating what a leader robot is. Does anyone have any ideas of how to do this? Because like it's not the most intuitive how we're gonna do it. Can you let me know if there's like anyone in chat? Okay, it's fine. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could use the strategy related to their like IP.
Yeah. It's like kind of arbitrary, but one like systematic way of selecting a leader is just like look at all the robots you have near you. And if you have the lowest robot ID, congratulations, you're the leader. So we're gonna implement that and launch your strategy. Unfortunately, like looking through all the robots like that are near you and like the eyes, it's kind of bytecode heavy. And we're already using a lot of bytecode of returning like enemies. So I'm gonna do a bad thing and I'm just gonna like comment out all these lines of code. You should like not do this on your own bot, but I want to make sure we have enough bytecode. So I'm just gonna delete like a bunch of lines of code. Okay, that might be good. However, there's actually like one issue with this piece of code. Like aside from me commenting things out, launchers will no longer attack anyone. Like if I run this code, launchers will never attack. Does anyone have any ideas why? Because I had to troubleshoot this like an hour ago until I realized why. And for context, this is like the same launcher strategy code that we used like a week ago and it worked perfectly fine. Well, like when I tried running it today, like it did not work. I'll give a hint. It has to do with the lowest health we have. Does anyone see it? Okay. Well, you can. Yeah. So originally, when I was lecturing, I wanted to make this integer that max value. But then I was told that that's excessive. We should just make it 100. But then it turns out health values went over 100 and I broke my code. So I'm going to make it still not integer that max value, but I'll just make it 1,000. And no way we multiply health numbers by 10 again. But that is something you should keep in mind when you're troubleshooting. Like we are going to change some numbers around occasionally. So try not to like hard code anything or like arbitrary like max values like that. Okay. Theoretically, that should be fixed. So now, what we're gonna do is if we see like any enemies, we still want to like keep like the attacking them situation. And I'm just gonna ignore like this visible enemies thing. I don't know who wrote this line of code, but I'm sorry. If we see any enemies and we attack them, let's just like move towards them. And we have a handy move towards class that Jerry wrote for me. And target I get location. And if we don't see any enemies around and we don't attack anyone, that's when I'm going to try implementing like a follow the leader strategy. So first thing we have to do is we have to send like our nearby robots. And I'm just going to give us like a radius grid of 9. So I only want robots that are like we're right next to you. And I want to get robots that are on the same team. And I'm going to loop through. So I'm going to keep track of like our current lowest ID we found. We can just use like the ID of the robot calling us and leader's position. And if we haven't found a leader yet, there is no leader position. So if ri.get ID is less than our ID, well, the lowest ID, then we're gonna set the lowest ID to their ID. And we're gonna set the leader position to their position. And we're gonna loop through that. So after we do that, we've gone through like all the nearby robots and we've identified a leader. Well, hopefully we've identified the leader. So if leader cost is not null, that means we've like overridden this at some point. We've identified someone else to be a leader. Then let's just like move towards the leader. And we're just gonna follow whatever path the leader takes. Otherwise, that means that either there is no other robots around us, or there is other robots, but we are designated to be the leader. So we need a place to lead them to. Where should we lead our group of launchers to? Because I have a very arbitrary decision I've chosen. Okay, I'll decide. We're gonna just lead them towards the center of the map. And then they can have fun chilling there. So I'm just gonna create a new map location, which is gonna be the map width divided by 2 for its x value, and the map height divided by 2 for the y value. Hopefully I do not have this fixed. And we're just gonna move towards the center. And then to help us like debug, I'm gonna use indicator strings, which you like when you click on a robot like in client, you're able to read what its indicator string is. So this indicator string, I'll just set to like we're following robot with what is following plus and then our lowest ID. So that way we can like see, we can track what robot each robot is following. And if we don't have one, then we'll just set the indicator string that I'm leading. Yay. Okay. There's like one other thing I'm gonna change. So like the follow the leader strategy, it's only really effective if you already have the robots like next to each other and they can like identify each other. Right now, like with how we're building launchers, it's kind of like random. Like it's just like if RNG.next boolean is false, then we randomly try and make a launcher. And so we're gonna like sporadically make launchers. And it's gonna be like a bit difficult for them to find like a leader and like follow them. So what I'm gonna try implementing is taking advantage of our new specs change. Headquarters now have like an action cooldown of 2, meaning they can build 5 robots in a turn. So I'm just gonna wait until we have the ability to build 5 launchers at a time. So if our current get action cooldown turns, if it's not 0, we have some cooldown, then we can't build 5 robots in a turn. Or if we don't have enough resources that get resource amount, we want mana. It's less than 5 times the resource cost to build a launcher. Launcher, the build cost mana. Then I just want to return. I don't want to like try building a launcher yet until we've amassed the resources to build 5. Otherwise, this is not the best way to do this with the way we have our code set up. So I'm just gonna randomly try building launchers enough times and hope I built 5 of them. So I'm gonna say like the number of attempts we've made to build a launcher is 0. And the number of launchers we placed is also 0. So while we haven't placed 5 launchers, and we haven't reached, I'm just gonna use like a random number. So we haven't reached 30 attempts. We're gonna try to make a launcher 30 times and hope we made a launcher 5 times. So every time we're gonna increase our attempts by 1. And if we can build a robot, we should. That's great. And if we do, then we're gonna increase num place by 1. But if we can't build a robot, then we should just like get a new location. We should try building a robot in a new place. So, and then that's where I basically just copy and paste this line again. This is bad. You should not copy and paste. Okay. Hopefully that works. Let's try actually running. I don't know what that is. Don't look at my files, guys. Team A equals lecture player minus P team B. Does anyone have any maps they want to see this robot on? I don't know. I only know like geo map names. No. Geo, let's not do this on Geo because I don't want to break my robot already. So we're just gonna do my favorite map, fast signal. I'm not biased. I did not make this map. I did make this map. This should be fine. Okay. There might have been other issues, but wait, this is also whatever. It didn't work, so I'm just gonna try making a new terminal and hope it works this time. That signal. Okay, now it works. And now we wait. We hope we do not get a billion error messages, which we might. I got that a lot during testing. So, but so far, no error messages. Very good. How's everyone's day been? Anyone eat anything cool? I ate some amazing. Yeah, I got some amazing like jasmine rice and like spiced chicken today. I got to have Battlecode lectures actually. You guys should. Oh, Battlecode. So Battlecode is like MIT's largest and longest running AI competition where teams have won. Okay, the game ended. We can stop doing this. Hopefully it ran in clients. Okay. And we shall wait for this to load. And now hopefully we have launchers. If we don't have launchers, that's gonna be very sad. You notice that it doesn't instantly build launchers anymore because but now it like instantly built it. Only I don't know what's going on here. Eventually some launchers are making their way towards the middle. Other launchers are just like circling. But as you can see, like some launchers are like currently loading. And if we like pause and investigate, This guy says he's following 10, 121. This guy says he's following 10, 121. This guy is 10, 121. He's the leader. And he identifies himself as the leader. And this guy also follows 10, 121. And then this guy is a bit, he's a bit slow in the head. He doesn't see 10, 121. And he mistakenly thinks he's the leader. But eventually, he's going to find, if we advance one turn, actually, if we advance one turn, then he thinks, oh, now I'm following 10, 5, 3, 3. Still not right, but we're closer. Eventually, this guy should find 10, 121. Or not. Okay, now at this point, he finds 10, 121, and he changes his leader to start following 10, 121. So you can see that, like, eventually, since they're all moving towards the same location, towards the center, even if they don't initially start next to the leader, they'll like catch up eventually. And then they'll find the leader and start following them. Blue team seems to be doing the opposite and it's like ignoring what I told them to do. And the launchers are just like pruning over here. We have one person who identifies himself as a leader and just goes and dies. It looks like every time a leader self-identifies himself, they just go and die to the red's actual formation. Oh, you're right. That actually is probably, that is cheap. That's something I forgot to do. I probably have some people that are following carriers. Let's fix that. We do not want carriers to be leaders. Carriers are born followers. Okay, so it's going to be in launcher strategy. So I only want to check them. If I that get type does not equal what type the launcher, then I'm going to continue. E or irrelevant. Now we try running this. I should get rid of that print statement. I'll get rid of it now, actually.
Other things that you can consider is like putting them in groups of some specific number.
True. Okay, I don't know if you could hear what Serena just said, but I would just like repeat what she said for the stream. Something you can consider is like limiting the number of launchers in a group to like 3 maybe, just so you don't get like a huge blockage of launchers, and instead like your launchers move, and they can also like split up into more areas of the map that way, instead of always going towards the center. Okay, looks like blue team actually won this one. Maybe blue team's launchers are better this time. So no, we see, okay, wait, I should slow down. Okay. We're gonna advance one round at a time until they build launchers. But hopefully the headquarter built all 5 launchers in one turn. Hopefully it's sometimes, I'll speed it up a bit. And you see like it built 5 launchers in a turn, and they all looked for a leader and they all found each other. Hopefully. Well, this guy, they found 2 leaders. That's good enough. And because of that, you can see our launchers are like actually starting to move semi together. Because we're using like bug nav, it's not like perfectly next to each other, but it's close enough. And you can see that like red and blue both have like actual groups of launchers, and we have like semi decent combat. So that's an improvement you guys should consider making. Definitely try making like smaller formations so that you don't just lead them all towards the center. In fact, let's try seeing how bad a strategy is on a different map. Okay, let's try seeing how this works on jail. Good bot code should be resilient and should be able to succeed even on maps like jail. I do not think Luxury player is a good bot player that will be able to survive jail. Whoa, a team actually wins. And like before 2000 rounds. Wait, this is like actually interesting. Whoa. Wait, lecture player is like actually better than like our semifinalists. Like lecture player did. Lecture player did not get stuck in jail. That is crazy. Okay, I also know the reason why. It's because lecture player only places robots like adjacent to the headquarter. So physically cannot place things into jail. But that's besides the point. And now, wow, lecture player also places anchor. Lecture player is like would actually be like half of the tournament. Okay. Okay, so I think that was successful. I don't want to try implementing like the optimal resource thing because that's just a mess. I'll also note that like you shouldn't just like copy and paste this into your code and like use it for your carrier. Because I did like a very inefficient thing of just like looping through everything and like simulating everything. And it's gonna like eat up your bytecode. Do not do this. Instead you should probably like calculate it ahead of time for certain cases, or just like not use this. Just fill up your carrier. It's not that big of a deal. But if you are running into bytecode issues, you should come to tomorrow's lecture, where we'll talk about how to get around bytecode constraints and optimize the code for bytecode. And I think that's it, unless anyone, Andy has the.
I'm going to have a surprise fun
Apparently we have a surprise fun.
thing.
I'll just let you speak. I don't know what this is.
All right. Yeah, you guys like watching the robots not get jailed? Well, that will only last so long because we are going to have a fun surprise where we'll be running Ian's new bot, or I guess the collective dev team's new lecture player, on new maps that we'll be making live, and you guys can give some suggestions on how we can break this bot. Some ideas immediately come to mind. I think he already exposed that the bot only spawns things adjacent to it, which is quite exploitable. So
we had this clear, like, we had this idea maybe 10-15 minutes before you started like explaining how to expose your bot. And then after you're talking about that, I was like texting Andy, like, pay attention, use it.
all right. Client works on your everything works with map maker. All right, guys, let's make some maps. You guys also get to see the mind of a dev making troll maps for tournament, which we probably won't do, but we'll be saving our troll maps for now. I have a question. Oh, he has a question. Yes. Yes, I love this idea. Let's make a jail. Hell yeah. Okay. Ian, how do you run client on your computer?
Just like open it. Sorry, open. Okay, wait.
All right. I hope people are ready to have some fun with this new bot. Let's call this map. Let's call this jail. Better jail. Ian jail. All right. How big do we want to make this map? Do you guys want a big map, small map, medium-sized map? A map that's like 20 by 60, so it just looks really bad to see on the monitor. 60 by 20. Okay, a lot better. Not a giant vertical map that's not going to fit on the screen. All right. I hope all of you guys have gone into our map maker. If you haven't gone into map maker, I highly recommend that you test your bots on maps that are not only the ones we provide you, because the maps we provide you are not always going to cover every case. We released a huge batch of matches after sprint 1. Those are hopefully pretty diverse. But one thing to note, those maps didn't have a whole lot of clouds. We'll be putting more clouds. Hopefully not like an entire map of clouds. I don't know, ask Ian here, right? But
Wait, what is cow not work?
oh yeah, you guys want to see a fun part feature
Wait,
of
am I
our
doing
thing?
cow wrong?
You're doing cow wrong because the brush size is 1.
Oh,
So let's make a brush size 10 cow, guys. We need to
Awesome,
turn on
yeah.
walls. So this is also another fun feature that our that our map maker makes.
I don't know why we support this, but
I mean, this is a vital feature. I think if our client didn't have this, it just wouldn't work.
I think this was 2020, was had like cows with their methane polluting the atmosphere. And so someone influenced the cow brush just for fun and stuck around, even though like cows haven't been seen in 4 years.
All right,
This might be, yeah.
that might be. You can ask them about the lore of their name. All right, so we want a better jail, right? All right, let's make a better jail for Ian spots. Oh, this is even numbered. Wow, okay, let's turn the map symmetry to like horizontal, so the even numbered one doesn't look terrible. Okay. So what do you guys want to see in this new map? I prefer just not surrounding the two headquarters in like a tiny box like this, since I don't think they'll be able to physically spawn robots. Oh, we're still on the cow selector. Hold up. So, we could do this. I guess we can actually see what happens if we do this. Let's add a couple wells so this map is actually valid, toss some islands around.
Wait, you
Great.
just won't build
6
anything.
islands. And this is going to be a lovely map, guys. Oh, let's put them in clouds too. Is that legal? I think that's legal.
Yes.
All right, and we're gonna export E in jail. And now we have E in jail to run. Is it just VS Code?
Yeah.
All right, and now we're going to run E in jail. We're gonna put his bot in jail, guys. Oh.
Wait, you need to do
Why
the
is
wrong
this-
commands.
Oh, why is the upper half of this command missing?
Because you didn't type it. We also, is that gonna run like?
Oh, it's not gonna, oh, I thought this was on robot example funks there. All right.
We can, okay. Can you just like use the up arrow, use the command arrow?
Ah, there it is. All right, guys, time to see what Ian Jail does to his poor bot.
Bro, why?
Oh, that was a
just having
really,
a fun
that was a
lecture.
really fast map. I wonder what happened here. It's almost like
winning
there's no
team
robot print logs.
The winning team won arbitrarily.
Yeah, this is probably a message that you guys will never see when actually running your bots. If you look at our list of tiebreakers, we have a whole host of useful things, most islands captured right now, most islands captured, most mana, most adamantium. You really go to the bottom of the list. There's sort of a nice one called a 50-50 coin flip. And in the case that every single other tiebreaker is tied, we just do a 50-50 coin flip to see who wins. So hopefully you never end up in that situation. I think it's been applied like one time. I hope it hasn't been applied more than that.
Wait, I won.
Yeah, Ian's lecture player did win against itself. Very surprising. And then if you guys want to just see how to run this map, you can just go on to the matches
Wait, this is a
and
different.
wrong folder. Is that Ian Jail? All right.
Yeah.
Look at this riveting gameplay that you guys have inspired.
Also,
Oh,
remove like everything else.
let's remove all of these.
You removed.
Here.
Wait, you kept bad signal.
All right, technical difficulties, guys. All right, let's look at this riveting gameplay. Wow, the robots are
Jeez.
spawning bots. Or are they? Okay, so this is why we don't want to do this map, right? What's some more fun ways we can actually troll this new Ian bot, we'll call it, lecture player, I suppose. Any ideas? You guys saw like what our tournament maps look like, right? Like, hopefully none of them are this bad, but
Bow and arrow.
Bow and Arrow was a map of questionable quality. We'll leave it at that. But
Bow and arrow was the map with like the headquarters right next to each other, and so the game was decided in 10 rounds based on whoever won the first fight.
all right, so I'll just start making a map, and then as you guys go through this, you guys can toss in suggestions for what you want to see in this map. I'll start it off pretty reasonable. Let's say there's, I don't know. Oh, this is kind of a weird symmetry for such a thin map. All right, let's say there's like 2 headquarters on each side, right? Let's add a couple walls here. Funnel them into each other.
That's for pathfinding.
Yeah, test how pathfinding works. Maybe make it not so easy to navigate. I don't think lecture player will navigate this. We can do something fun like this. Let's just add a couple walls here. Maybe we can toss in some islands. Let's put an island near the bases and 2 islands in the center. Resources.
It looks like a samurai.
It looks like a
A
what?
samurai.
I don't see the samurai.
I do. It's like
I don't know. Let's
head.
add some resources here, right? Give each of these headquarters a well. tack on some mana, you know. Maybe we want to see some clouds. Didn't see a whole lot of clouds during the first tournament. Let's make quite a few clouds around the map. Yeah, clouds
is
should not be
not
on
how
walls.
it
Hold on. All right, we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. All right, let's see how the lecture player deals with clouds, since I don't think we've coded anything for them. So the bot will be literally going in blind when they enter a cloud. Currents, you guys want to see some fun currents? How do you guys want to see these currents? Pointing in, pointing away? Away. Okay, I suppose we can do that. Let's add a couple currents here. You know, make it a little harder for them to get in. All right, you guys want to see how this runs?
Is that a current on top of a cloud?
That is a current on top of
That's
a
not
cloud.
legal.
We'll be cutting out that. All right, let's see how this runs. Let's call this, you know, let's call this, you call it samurai, right? We'll call it samurai. Why not? So just go to run it in DBS code and who do you guys will think? Red or blue team? It's not like they're just the same bot fighting each other.
Blue team.
Hold
Blue
up.
team, best team.
Blue team, best team. Red team,
It
better.
starts with a B.
Okay, fair.
Like it rhymes.
You know what? Let's make this a
It's
little
not
bit more
right.
interesting. Let's just give them different random. Oh wait, it's kind of hard to do that since we have to do two bots.
You can just do like if get team equals team dot A.
Oh, true. All right, let's go to robot player. And at the very start, we're just gonna say if RC dot get team equals what is it, like team dot A,
I don't know
then
how that works.
we're just gonna do a so RNG dot next in.
What?
And then this should
Oh,
move
okay,
forward
yeah.
one of the teams.
It's
from
like
RNG.
moves the RNG one.
All right, why are there no bots spawning? This is a little alarming.
No,
Oh, more
I got-
mana net worth.
I
Oh,
got
maybe.
rid of
Oh,
the
you got rid of
prints
the
too.
low bot prints.
Wait,
Wow,
that's
that's
just explosive.
that's my
game.
favorite part. That's my favorite part of it. All right. Anyways,
Why do I want to wait like a minute for it to?
all right. Who do you guys will think? Oh, I guess you guys saw who would win. All right. Let's see how this goes. Oh wow. Okay. Both teams captured. Oh, I'll catch this one. All right. Both teams have captured an island immediately, and now they're looking to mine from this adamantium well. The carriers look a little stuck. Features of lecture player, and these other carriers look like they're just wandering around.
Wait, they're not stuck. They're just mining resources.
Neither team has spawned launchers, but now blue team sends in a wave of launchers here, and red team is still scrambling on its feet. I think red team is too crammed in order to spawn launchers in this lower headquarter. Perhaps an oversight in red team's code. That obviously doesn't exist in blue team's code because we see how great blue
Yeah,
team is
look
here.
at blue team's team.
And we see
coordination.
one launcher just
Oh.
run in by itself. I wonder if it was the leader. And then it just gets zapped by what, seven blue launchers? All right, let's do this up.
We also see some fun bug nav happening at the bottom.
Yeah, so these launchers also look a little confused. I think they're
That
juggling
launcher might be
between.
stuck.
I think they're juggling between. I think it's the leader. Not so sure what exactly it thinks it's doing. The wonders of bug nav and how you can fix it is how you can fix is a bit less intuitive, but let's see. Is this gonna happen for another 1,000 turns?
Yeah. Oh, wait, it moved.
It moved. Oh, it got past one step. All right, maybe it'll get to the end by 2,000. Nope, never mind. All right, so what went wrong here, guys? A couple things. Carriers cramming up the headquarters.
Don't do that.
Launchers getting stuck in pathfinding. That's about it. Want me to try live coding a fix, actually? That'd be fun. Maybe not. Maybe that would
You
make
want
passing the
live
class a
code.
little too easy. So we won't be live coding a fix because you guys should be the ones live coding the fixes to our lecture player to make a good bot. No, if I just coded a good bot, then passing the class would probably be too easy since you can just copy paste the bot over.
Unless you
Assuming I beat-
$50.
Hold up. We're
That
not.
was actually on stream.
Was that on stream?
No.
Actually, are we unmuted? We are unmuted, right?
I hope
Surely.
I muted.
All right, we are unmuted.
Okay.
All right. All right, so what went wrong there? A couple things. Let's make a map where, maybe something else goes wrong, some other fun stuff. Do you have any other ideas on how we can mess around with this robot?
Make so many walls. It just moves.
A whole spiral of walls. I see you are a man of culture who looked at the Pathfind map I made for last sprint 1. Yeah, let's try a spiral of walls, let's even make it more fun. Let's see how the robot reacts when we do this. Hold on, let's erase these walls really quick.
Oh.
All right, let's do this. I think yeah, I mean, if you guys want to leave, just feel free, like don't feel forced to stay. Yeah, if you guys want office hours to just actually, do you guys want office hours or do you guys want me to just keep making maps? Full raise of hands.
Wait, how? how are you
Zero,
gonna do
zero
raise of
versus
hands?
0.
Like, what does raising a hand mean?
I know, raise their hand, right?
For what?
Oh, all right. Who wants office hours right now? We can just cut straight into office hours.
Ooh,
Okay, who wants more map making?
see.
Okay, we'll do this for how about another 15 minutes and then we'll cut into office hours. Some people do need help with bots. All right, I think a pretty fun map idea would be just making a giant spiral like you suggested. So let's do that. Let's make bot navigation very well tested. So I don't know what you guys are thinking when you said a spiral, but this is what came to my mind. So,
Wait, like you're so nice.
whoops.
You made the thickness too.
Oh, why would you make the thickness 2, right? Then it's just less pathfinding. Oh, whoops. All right, we're going to fix those in a bit. All right, guys, how do you think the bot will pathfind? Do you think it will pathfind is the better question, I guess. And I think even better, what we can do here is we can put the robots, the headquarters, maybe like right here. And then we can drop some wells.
Just make sure they're on the opposite
And
side
let's
of the
put
wall.
like one well over here. And let's put like another well over here and let's see which it gets to.
Okay.
What else? Let's add some currents. Why not?
Oh, no.
And let's make sure that they don't actually get out. Oh, whoops, wrong direction. All right, let's see how this goes. Is this? Oh wait, it has no islands. Hold up. Let's put a couple islands here. Let's do, I don't know, 2 more there.
Wait, but same scenery.
Oh, okay, fine. Pathfind, but better. All right. After this, we'll cut into office hours or maybe just one more map and then we can cut off. All right. You guys think they're just going to be stuck at their base? Do you think they'll pathfind? Do you think they'll get to the center or do you think they'll just get stuck at the currents?
I trust Bugman.
I don't trust
Bugnav
Bugnav.
never did me wrong.
Talking about pathfinding, Bugnav is great and all, but Bugnav does have a lot of issues.
No,
I don't know if you guys have implemented it, but does anybody want to suggest some issues that occur when you try Bugnav? There's quite a few. Yeah.
So like the way I had it is like whenever it encounters an obstacle, like it could also be under a robot.
Yes.
They try to come back to that place, but like after that it hits a wall and then it just kind of keeps circling around because it doesn't find the same location.
Yes, huge problem with Bugnav. Assumes that walls are not going to run away from you. And when walls are robots, they can run away from you. Not a very easy fix to this problem, right? Maybe you can consider robots as not walls, but then you're just going to run into robots. Maybe you can try to get some jittery movement so that robots aren't just staying still and being permanent walls that are in the way all the time. As the dev team, we can't really give code on how to fix this, but this is a problem that a lot of teams encounter and teams have different solutions to this problem. So I recommend maybe trying out some heuristics or trying out some other strategies that you could do to dance around this problem.
Or you can ask in a Discord and hope someone takes pity on you and helps you.
Yeah, or you can ask in the Discord and Xenoblade Game of the Year will tell you about his distributed BFS algorithm that operates across several turns. All right, let's see how these teams do. Why is Red not building any carriers? Did Red just build like 10 anchors?
What? Wait, you can't afford,
Oh, they built one
yeah,
anchor.
they can't
Okay.
afford to build 10 acres.
Seems like RNG.Nexton is doing wonders, and now both teams are sort of trying to get to this mono well. Is this bug nav, by
Wait,
the way?
I don't know if we have bugs I've implemented for carrying.
Well, launchers are certainly doing bug nav here. Look at this one
Whoa.
launcher. Oh my god, this launcher is MVP. Oh wait,
Oh.
it died. Oh no. All right, well, this red launcher is about to launch a counterattack, guys. Do you think it'll succeed? Oh,
No.
2 zaps, 3 zaps. Oh, it's dead. All right. Tune back next round until they respawn launch. Oh, another one goes in. Oh, it's dead. All right. Oh, another one. All right. So blue seems to be taking a bit more of an aggressive strategy.
What was the fight? Oh.
Another, nope. Oh, another one. No. Another one.
Is
I think that
the
the follow
leader?
the leader program has a couple issues. It seems
What?
like they're not waiting for a group before they attack.
That is something you should try to implement.
Anybody have any suggestions on how this could be better for follow the leader at least? I can think of a couple off the top of my head that might make them group better or follow a smarter leader. Well, like what if like let's consider one issue that can happen with follow the leader. What if you spawn like 5 robots, they start running to the enemy team, and then you spawn a new robot and that robot has the lowest ID. So your robots just start running backwards, right? Like you can technically get it stuck in an infinite loop here. So does anybody have any suggestions for how we could fix that? Any ideas? If this is your team secrets, you don't need to reveal this to. Perhaps this is like the thing you've been working on for the past 5 days and you don't want to leak how to solve this problem.
It's not a problem. I
It's a
trust my
feature.
leader. I trust my leaders.
It's just for micro strategy. Yeah.
I guess we like right in this area, right? Have like one guy, whenever he spawns, he's like, he's a leader. And then the other one gets technically like a leader already existing, because the leaders follow that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like communication is important. You know, like without communication, your robots just don't know what your other robots want to do. So one idea is maybe the headquarter assigns a leader, and then the robots are like, all right, this is our leader now. We all follow this robot. And you know, if a new robot with lower ID gets spawned, it doesn't matter. You know, pretty good idea.
The only issue of that is that like if you only use one index for like the leader ID, it only lets you really make like one big group of launchers.
Well, I have an idea for that. What if we spawned launchers in groups of 5, and
Wait,
for
we
each
already do
pack
that.
of 5, we assign one leader to them?
Wait,
You
but we
know?
already do that.
Oh, we don't assign a leader. Well,
Out of
well,
those
the
5,
groups
one
of
of them
5s can
has the
also
lowest
just
ID.
amalgamate into
Sure.
running back and forth.
No way. Our bots never do that.
Yeah, and they also don't run off on their own. Yeah, that's something we can do. Yeah.
Spirit, you could say maybe robots with the ID that is equal to 0, 1, 5 are just naturally do effort, and then the other ones follow naturally.
Yeah, well, if they have a ID divisible by 5, well, they can be leaders. Immediate,
All robots are created equal.
true, but they're not created with the same ID. So, actually, robot IDs are semi-random, no?
I thought they were random.
Yeah, so one immediate issue that you might want to consider here is like, you know, 20% of the time you'll get a leader, 80% of the time you won't. If you get exceptionally unlucky, you just might have no leader, or a
Probability
group
doesn't
might be
work like
left
that.
without a leader. But yeah, certainly a good idea and sort of a new way to approach how we can do this leader. That's a lot more efficient than using a bunch of communication tiles for this.
You can just do like assign as your leader, like whichever robot's the furthest away from your headquarters, or like the closest to the target location you want to go to.
Yep. You know, some other ideas, they're not necessarily micro, but you know, thinking about where you want your robots to go. Do they want to go to a center? Do they want to explore the map, look for symmetry and enemy headquarters, come back to wells to defend? Yeah, just a lot of ideas. This will probably be the end of our map making session though. We'll cut into office hours, and if you guys need any help, the devs will come over and help you. If you also just want to bounce micro macro ideas off of us, we'll do our best to help you out. And also join the Discord. The Discord has a lot of people who are interested in talking about these things. But for now, that will be all of lecture today and the additional part. Thank you for coming. And I don't know if we have extra food, but feel free to take extras.
And come tomorrow.
And
We
come
have one
tomorrow
last
for
lecture.
bytecode hacking. If you've been running into bytecode problems, we will do our best to solve them for you, although some bytecode problems are unsolvable. So we'll see how well that goes. Thank you for coming to lecture today, and now we'll be doing office hours.
Bye. Just leave.
It's
Yeah.
going to continue.